At 2:17 a.m., I was sitting on the floor of my apartment eating dry cinnamon toast crunch out of a coffee mug because all my bowls were dirty, refreshing Fiverr like a maniac, praying someone would pay me $15 to design a thumbnail. And the crazy part? 3 weeks earlier, I thought freelancing was freedom. No boss, no office, no annoying quick team syncs that somehow last longer than Avengers movies. Just me, my laptop, and unlimited income potential. That's what all the YouTube gurus said anyway. But by day 19, I had gotten scammed by a client named CryptoKing777, developed a caffeine dependency strong enough to legally classify as a personality trait, accidentally worked 18 hours straight, and made exactly $11.42 per hour after fees. And somehow, that wasn't even the worst part, because on day 27, I got an email that genuinely made me think my freelance career was over before it even started.
So here's the situation. I'm 28 years old, living in a tiny apartment in Chicago that costs way too much money for a place with heating that sounds like a dying motorcycle. I work in digital marketing. Or I worked in digital marketing, technically. I'd been doing social media management for a mid-sized company where every meeting included at least one guy saying, "Let's circle back," like he was being held hostage by LinkedIn. And after 3 years of pretending spreadsheets excited me, I quit. Because freelancing looked amazing online. Everywhere I looked, there were videos titled, "How I Made 10K in 1 week on Upwork, Escaped the 9-to-5 Today. I Made 6 figures working from Bali." Meanwhile, I was eating microwave burritos under fluorescent office lighting, wondering if this was really the peak human experience. So I made a decision that felt incredibly intelligent at the time. I would survive entirely on Fiverr and Upwork for 30 days. No job, no safety net, just freelance income. Which sounds brave until you realize my emergency savings account had roughly the financial strength of a wet paper towel. I had $2,700 in savings, $1,900 rent, student loans, a car payment, and a credit card balance that I aggressively avoided looking at. But confidence is free, and unfortunately, I had plenty of that. The first thing I did was create profiles on Fiverr and Upwork. This process alone felt like online dating for capitalism. Describe yourself professionally. Okay, I'm passionate about storytelling and strategic branding. Translation, I know Photoshop and I panic easily. Then came the profile photos. Every freelancer online somehow looked perfectly hydrated, aggressively productive, and emotionally stable. Meanwhile, my profile picture looked like a mugshot taken during tax season. Still, I launched my gigs. Services, thumbnail design, copywriting, social media posts, video editing, brand strategy, even though I honestly had no idea what that meant. And then I waited. Refreshing, refreshing again, refreshing harder somehow. Nothing. For 2 days, absolutely nothing happened. No clients, no messages, no money, just silence. And that's when the desperation started.
By day 3, I lowered my Fiverr prices so aggressively, it looked like I was having a psychological breakdown. Thumbnail design from $75 to $15. Copywriting from $100 to "please just interact with me." I started checking Fiverr notifications like a toxic relationship. Every vibration from my phone gave me hope. Most of them were Uber Eats coupons. Then finally, a message. My heart started pounding. The client said, "Can you make YouTube thumbnails like Mr. Beast?" Ah, yes. The sentence every freelancer hears right before disaster. I should have recognized the red flag immediately because the client's budget was $12. $12. To compete visually with the most expensive YouTube channel on earth. Naturally, I accepted, because at this point my financial strategy was mostly panic-based. The client wanted 5 thumbnails in 24 hours with unlimited revisions and Hollywood-level quality for $12, which mathematically translates to I was volunteering. But I worked all night anyway, and honestly, the thumbnails were kind of fire. I sent them over feeling proud. Then the client replied, "Can you make them more viral?" What does that even mean? Do you want me to add explosions? A tiger? The collapse of modern society? I revised them. Again, and again, and again.
At one point he requested, "Can you make my face look richer?" I stared at my screen for a solid 10 seconds. How do you visually increase wealth? Do I add yacht reflections into his pupils? But somehow, after 11 revisions, he approved the order.
I made my first Fiverr money, $9.60 after platform fees. I celebrated by ordering Chipotle like I just sold a startup. Huge mistake, because the next morning my bank account looked medically concerning. Still, something weird happened. I got addicted. Not to money, to the possibility of money. Every notification felt like a loot box opening in a video game. Maybe this client would change everything. Maybe this project would go viral. Maybe this was the beginning. And honestly, that hope is what keeps freelancers going. Because the reality is deeply chaotic. My apartment slowly transformed into a freelance survival bunker. Coffee cups everywhere, sticky notes covering the walls, random invoices open on my laptop, YouTube productivity videos playing in the background like motivational cult propaganda. I became one of those people who says things like, "I'll sleep after this deadline." Which sounds cool until you realize the deadline pays $34. Then came Upwork. And Upwork was different. Fiverr felt like fighting raccoons behind a Walmart. Upwork felt like the Hunger Games with LinkedIn profiles. Every job post had 50 proposals, impossible expectations, and clients asking for expert-level work for $8 an hour.
One posting literally said, "Need experienced video editor for long-term partnership, budget $3. $3. That's not employment, that's historical reenactment labor. Still, I applied to everything. At one point, I submitted 47 proposals in one day. Do you know what repeated rejection does to a human being psychologically? I started customizing proposals so intensely, it felt like writing emotional love letters. "Hi James, I noticed your brand focuses on authenticity." "Brother, I noticed you pay rent with human suffering." Then something unbelievable happened. A client hired me for a $600 project. I genuinely thought my life was changing. $600. That's when freelancer delusion kicks in. You immediately start mentally spending money you don't even have yet. I was already planning. Debt payments, groceries, maybe upgrading my desk chair from medieval torture device to slightly less painful. The client needed social media content for a startup. Easy enough. Or so I thought. Because this man changed the project scope every single day. Day 1. Just Instagram posts. Day 3. Can we also add TikTok strategy? Day 5. We should probably do YouTube Shorts too. Day 6. Actually, can you help with branding? Sir, you hired one exhausted guy in sweatpants, not a full-service agency backed by venture capital. But I kept saying yes, because freelancers are psychologically incapable of setting boundaries when rent is due. And then things got weird. The client started messaging me at insane hours. 1:12 a.m., 3:48 a.m., 5:03 a.m.
One message literally said, "Quick adjustment before sunrise." Before sunrise? Brother, are we defending Gotham City? Meanwhile, my sleep schedule completely collapsed. I became nocturnal. I'd wake up at noon confused and dehydrated like a Victorian ghost. Friends stopped inviting me places because my responses became, "Can't tonight, deadline." Even my mom called and said, "You quit your stable job for this?" And honestly, at that exact moment, I had no counter-argument. Because financially, things were getting ugly. One week I made $1,100. The next week, 84. 84. Do you know how emotionally humbling it is to calculate whether you can afford blueberries? I started avoiding grocery stores entirely because inflation felt personally targeted at freelancers. Everything became anxiety. Coffee purchases, gas prices, subscription renewals. I canceled Netflix and immediately spent the same amount on cold brew like a complete clown. And the loneliness hit harder than I expected. Nobody talks about this part. Freelancing sounds cool online until you realize you can go 3 straight days without human interaction besides DoorDash drivers, client Zoom calls, and accidentally thanking ChatGPT for helping write emails. At one point, I genuinely caught myself saying "we" while talking to my laptop. That's when I knew things were deteriorating. Then came the nightmare client. Every freelancer has one. Mine was named Trevor. Of course it was Trevor. Trevor hired me to edit videos for his alpha mindset business. Red flag already.
His content included rented landed leaders, fake motivational quotes, and shirtless podcast clips filmed in what looked like an Airbnb dining room. He wanted cinematic editing. Budget, $45. Again, insanity. But work was slowing down, so I accepted. Huge mistake. Trevor sent 73 video clips. 73.
Most were unusable. One clip was literally 14 seconds of him coughing. Another was him yelling at somebody off camera about chicken wings. Still, I edited everything. The final video actually looked decent. Then Trevor responded, "This doesn't feel billionaire enough." I almost quit freelancing right there. How do you edit a video into generational wealth? Do you want the transitions to own property? But somehow I revised it. Again. Then Trevor disappeared. Completely ghosted. No payment, no response, nothing. And that's when panic truly set in. Because suddenly I realized something terrifying about freelancing. You can work insanely hard and still not get paid.
By day 18, my mental state was basically espresso shots and financial fear. Then, one morning, I opened my banking app and froze. My account had been temporarily locked due to suspicious activity, which apparently happens when your income randomly arrives from Fiverr, Upwork, PayPal, Stripe, and a guy named NFT Demon X. The timing couldn't have been worse. Rent was due in 4 days. I had pending invoices. And my landlord already communicated exclusively through passive-aggressive emails. I called the bank immediately. After 42 minutes on hold listening to jazz music designed by Satan himself, the representative finally answered, and somehow made everything worse. She said, "We may need additional verification of your freelance income sources." I almost laughed. Verification? Lady, I barely understand my freelance income sources. At this point, my financial ecosystem looked like illegal wizardry. Then came the second disaster. Taxes. Or more specifically, the realization that freelancers actually have to save money for taxes. Nobody online talks about this enough. Freelance YouTubers always say, "I made $12,000 this month." Cool. How much of that belongs to the IRS, criminal? Because suddenly I realized I had been spending money like all of it belonged to me. It did not. Not even remotely. I started Googling things like, can freelancers accidentally commit tax fraud? How much jail time for forgetting quarterly taxes? Is panic deductible? And somehow, during all this chaos, my Fiverr account started blowing up. Apparently, one of my thumbnails performed well for a gaming creator. Suddenly, I had new inquiries, repeat clients, and actual momentum. For 48 glorious hours, I felt unstoppable. I was walking around Target feeling financially superior. I bought candles. Candles.
That's how you know somebody thinks they've made it. And then, the biggest opportunity arrived. A YouTuber with 800,000 subscribers messaged me. I genuinely stopped breathing for a second. This was it, the breakthrough. The kind of client freelancers fantasize about while eating instant noodles at midnight. He wanted thumbnail packages, editing support, long-term work. The contract could potentially change my entire life. There was just one problem. The deadline was insane. 3 days, massive workload, constant revisions. And because I'm apparently allergic to self-preservation, I said yes immediately. What happened next completely destroyed me.
The next 72 hours felt like psychological warfare. I barely slept. I was editing non-stop. My room looked like a cyberpunk depression cave. Energy drinks everywhere. Blue light burning my retinas, my posture evolving into shrimp biology. The client kept changing direction. Can we make it more clickable? Can we increase emotional tension? Can we test different facial expressions? Can we make the text feel more expensive? More expensive? It's font, Jason. But I kept going because the money was finally real. For the first time all month, freelancing actually looked viable. Until day 27, 2:14 a.m. I received an email with the subject line, "Urgent concerns." My stomach dropped instantly. The client said, turnaround times were inconsistent, communication felt rushed, and he was reconsidering long-term collaboration. I stared at my monitor in complete silence because deep down, he wasn't wrong. I was exhausted, burned out, sleep-deprived, operating entirely on caffeine and survival instincts. I'd become so obsessed with chasing freelance success that I accidentally built a life I hated. No structure, no boundaries, no stability, just constant pressure. And the scariest part, nobody was forcing me to do this. I was doing it to myself. That realization hit unbelievably hard. I closed my laptop and just sat there in the dark. No music, no YouTube videos, no notifications, just silence.
And honestly, I think that was the first real moment of clarity I'd had all month. Because freelancing online gets marketed as freedom, but nobody talks about the emotional cost of turning every waking hour into potential income. You stop resting with guilt. You stop enjoying free time. You start measuring your value through notifications and invoices. And somehow, your entire personality becomes, "Sorry, I've just been really busy." That night, I genuinely considered quitting, getting another office job, pretending this experiment never happened. Then my phone buzzed again. It was Trevor, the ghost client. After disappearing for 9 days, he finally replied, "Yo bro, sorry, been locked in mentally, can pay tomorrow." I laughed so hard I almost became religious.
The next morning, I did something radical. I stopped working for 6 hours. No laptop, no Fiverr, no Upwork, no proposals. I went outside like a confused Victorian child experiencing sunlight for the first time. And weirdly, my brain started functioning again. That's when I realized something important. Freelancing wasn't the problem. My approach was. I had spent the entire month treating freelancing like a survival emergency instead of an actual business. I underpriced myself, ignored boundaries, accepted terrible clients, worked constantly, panicked emotionally over every slow day. Basically, I became economically available to anyone with Wi-Fi. So I changed things immediately. I raised my prices. Terrifying experience, by the way. It felt like trying to bluff at a poker table while internally screaming. But something shocking happened. Better clients appeared. Turns out the people paying $15 are usually the same people requesting 97 revisions and emotionally draining your soul through Gmail. I also stopped replying instantly to every message, because freelancers online act like if you don't answer within 14 seconds, the economy collapses. It doesn't. I created work hours, used contracts, required deposits, started tracking taxes properly, which was deeply unfun, but significantly less terrifying than accidental IRS combat. And slowly, things stabilized.
Not perfectly. Freelancing is still chaotic. One month you feel rich. The next month you Google, "Can humans survive exclusively on protein bars?" But emotionally, I got smarter. I stopped chasing hustle culture validation because honestly, a lot of grind set content online is just burnout with cinematic music. Nobody posts the panic attacks, the loneliness, the inconsistent income, the clients who vanish, the weird guilt of resting on a Tuesday afternoon. But that's the real freelancer experience. And weirdly, I started enjoying the work again once I stopped trying to become an internet success story every 5 minutes. The 800K subscriber client eventually stayed. Not full-time, not life-changing instantly, but enough to help me breathe financially. Trevor eventually paid too, 3 weeks late, naturally. And by the end of the 30 days, I'd made around $4,800 total, which sounds impressive until you subtract taxes, software subscriptions, coffee, emergency takeout, therapy-level stress, and the fact I aged emotionally by approximately 11 years. Still, I survived. Barely, chaotically, caffeinated beyond medical recommendation. But I survived.
So, what's the brutal truth about Fiverr and Upwork? They absolutely can change your life, but they can also completely consume it if you don't know what you're doing. Freelancing gives you freedom, and then immediately tests whether you're responsible enough to handle it.
Some days feel incredible. You wake up late, work in sweatpants, make money online, avoid office politics forever. Other days, you're arguing with a client named Mindset Wolf 99 about why a logo revision cannot physically cure his engagement rate. It's chaos. Funny chaos, stressful chaos, sometimes genuinely beautiful chaos. Would I do it again? Honestly? Yeah. But next time I'd remember something nobody tells new freelancers. Making money online is hard. Making money online without destroying your mental health? That's the real skill. And if you're currently freelancing at 1:43 a.m. while stress-eating cereal and pretending everything is under control, I promise you're not alone. Also, save money for taxes. Seriously, the IRS does not care about your creative journey.